Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. So this is going to be my final Christmas tutorial. It's a really fun, simple one. You can actually make like really cute art from around your house, or you can do this with your kids if you like, or your husband, or just if you have to watch another Christmas movie and you want something to do with your hands. This is something that you can do that can be just really fun. So I'm afraid there's a little bit of water up here. It might trip down, but that's okay. We're just making fun Christmas tree patterns. Oh, you can see it. I don't want to hold it up much longer. So yeah, we're doing great Christmas tree patterns. It's surprisingly nice for your mind, like, because you'd like the first three, you're like, yeah, I got this, I know what I'm making. And then you're like, what should I do next? And so it's kind of like a little puzzle. So it's slightly more challenging than you would think. And it's also really mindless if you're not under pressure. I was feeling pressure because I wanted to make them really cool for you. Yeah, so you can just copy my 5, my 6, or you can make a whole bunch more. The possibilities are endless. So let's get to the tutorial. Thanks for being here and Merry Christmas.
All right, so I'm starting by marking off the different spots where I'm going to put my tree. I did this by just sketching out a little graph, and then I'm going to stagger them. So I think we're going to do 6 trees in total. We have, because I want them to be tall. So we're doing like 2 on one side, then like kind of like how you lay down cookies. You've got this. And grabbing the Bombay India ink and a nib, and then we are going to start sketching. We're going to start by just doing a nice straight line all the way up. Keep this really simple, and then just do 3 triangles down. Sometimes that's one of the best things to do, is just try simple things, and then it really gets your mind flowing about different options. So this is like a classic Christmas tree. Now for our second one, do something a little more complex. This is a more modern one, like kind of those funky shapes people are really into. I love this one because I think it'd be so fun to color this one in. And so you're just gonna do kind of wavy lines connecting in. There we go. Let's bring them together. No need to be perfect. For our next one, I'm just doing a bunch of little hash marks, and we're going to use the 3 triangle shape again. We just do tiny little flick marks, which is really fun. I always love the way art looks like when it's done that way. It kind of reminds me of old prints, you know? So just fill in your whole tree. The nice thing about this too is you can change the shape really easily because there's no actual solid line. Yep, making them a little bit thicker. Love our thick boys here. Okay, for our next one, we're gonna go all the way to the top. This one I'm doing is kind of ended up as a short boy. I would probably just recommend staying with 5 trees if you're using the same layout as I did, but it's fun just to practice too. And so I'm adding some ornaments just to get the mind working. We don't need to take ourselves too seriously here. Again, too, if you're doing this as like wrapping paper, I think it would be so fun. You can just go everywhere, and it doesn't matter if some trees are like not the same size at all, because it'll just be adorable if you and all your kids are working on it. Okay, so I decided to fill this one in, and I started off with my number 4, I believe. And I had, the ink was wet, so when I just used water, it just flowed into it naturally. And then I decided that's too big, so I grabbed my number 2. And I'm going up and going around the ornaments. And I decide also that like this just isn't working. I don't like how it looks next to the stars. It's just looking a little bit messy. So I'm gonna end up just filling the whole tree in dark. And I grabbed, again, that must be my number 4. So I'm gonna fill the whole tree in, and I don't want it to be as like black because every other tree has a lot of negative space in it. So I'm gonna blot some of it away so that when the ink dries, it will kind of have like a swirly, cloudy look, which I always think is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite reasons to work with ink and watercolor, is just the way the pigment flows naturally. So that's another thing. You can just have a solid colored tree in there, mix it up. We're going to fix the star a bit. Add some glowing. Now, this one's a really simple one, but I think it's such a great design. So you just do just a little straight line all the way up, and then you just kind of, I guess, snake down in a really like oblong triangle. And it's just a super cute Christmas tree. It's fun. It kind of reminds me of like sound waves or whatever. And then ink, will do a couple different types of thickness, that's natural with the nib, so that adds an element of interest, which is always great. If you're working with a pen, that's fine too. That'll keep everything way more cohesive. Now for this one, it's my dog in the background if you heard that rumbling. Yeah, so I'm just replicating the oblong triangle again and again. I really love the layering of shapes together and the simplicity. I think it's so pretty, and I always imagine them a bunch of different colors, but it also looks so cute black and white too. So we're almost done. Adding little, I guess getting smaller squares for the trunk, and then I decided that the tree is too heavy, like, cause it's the only like solid colored thing essentially, so I'm adding a few ornament dots just to add some balance to the piece. That's a really good, like, just try to keep balance. Your eye will be able to tell when something's off, like it'll be like, oh, there's so much darkness at the top, and then there's not other places. Okay, thanks so much for drawing with me. I can't wait to see your trees. Thank you.